We would like to welcome John Furlong. And once again, John, we still cannot get over the fantastic Greatest Show on Earth, the best Winter Olympics of 2010, putting Vancouver and Canada on the map. So thank you from the bottom of all our hearts here in Winnipeg.
Well, thank you. It was a lot of fun for us to share the games with the country, and we have a lot of great memories of being here in Winnipeg. It was darn cold when we were here, but it was a lot of fun, yeah.
And we can talk a little bit about the magnitude of this production. I'm wondering, John, how long the whole process took from beginning to end?
Well, it was just a little idea 14 years before. You know, some good people just sat down and thought it would be a great thing to do, and a bit like, you know, kids in a sandbox, and then one thing led to another, and you know, we suddenly started to get some wings and started to believe in ourselves, and we finally got the right to represent Canada to compete for the games. And it takes a very long time, and it's very exhausting, and it takes a country really to put it on. It's the biggest event in the world, and so you know, it's a very long project. Some countries do it faster, but in our case, that's how long the adventure was, from 1996 to the beginning of the games in February of 2010. And you know, when I think back about it, I sort of remember the city we were and the city we became, and it was almost like the entire region had a complete face-over of, you know, there was this beaming smile on Vancouver at the end of the games, and we had this great desire to do a good thing, but no one really quite in their mind knew what that would look like. And I think today most are still a bit in awe of the effect it had on the city, and so we're obviously very proud of that, and it was great. And because we chose to make the games about the country and not about 2 weeks of sport in Vancouver, it was all the more special because it gave the country something that we could all do together. You know, we could all feel like we were part of it. And you know, at the end of the Olympics, when Sidney Crosby got that goal, it was like everyone got it. You know, it was like everybody was living it at that point, and it was a great moment of celebration for everybody, and so it made it quite special. So in the end, the prize was worth the effort for sure. Yeah.
Just listening to you now brings me back to watching on TV and taking everything in. And you're right, it wasn't only about the sport; it was about the people.
Yeah, it was all about the people, and you know, we had volunteers that came from all over the world and across the country and just abandoned everything for that time to be there, to put on that blue jacket and to take on a serious responsibility and to shine and work and give everything they had to make this a great event. And it's not as if we didn't have lots of adversity to deal with. We had many challenges, but it was the human capital that we had and the people and their commitment to it that really made it special. It gave people around the world who came to Vancouver a chance to experience what we say when we use the phrase "I'm a Canadian," and it was very cool, very special. And what was really nice about it was it wasn't about a few elite organizers. It was about everyone. It was about everyone pitching in. And I remember at the beginning of the games when we had all that adversity, it was almost like the public just jumped onto the ice with us, and they rallied us and pushed us to be the best we could be. And we seemed to turn a corner, and everything from that was downhill, and we had a great finish.
And it's interesting, you had mentioned it took a lot of people behind this to get this, you know, to fruition and be a success. John, what is it about, maybe about you, that you can become motivational, inspirational, and get these people to be committed?
Well, I think, you know, I mean, I think first of all, you have to have a bit of a belief in something. You have to have a vision that you believe that can captivate people, can inspire them, and then you have to be the example of that and push people to see the higher calling in that vision. I mean, when we talked about this being a nation-building event, I mean, a lot of people looked at us and thought, "What are you talking about? You know, this is just a couple of weeks of sport." But we really did see the potential to really, you know, draw on the spirit of the country, and we painted a picture of what could be, and told people that we will achieve this if everybody gives us their best. And the job of the organizing committee and the leaders and myself was to kind of inspire them to keep going, to see what was possible. My biggest concern about the games all along was that, you know, we might look back years after and have regret about things we didn't do or things we didn't achieve. So I was really hoping that we could pour it on, so that we would look back and feel everything that we had to give to the project, we gave it, and the result will live on and be an example of what we can do when we hold hands and stick together. Yeah.
Did you ever have any doubt, though, in all of this process? Is this going to be what we envision it, or did you ever have those moments?
No, I think I had plenty of doubts in myself, because when you take on a project like this and you push yourself, you always hope that you're going to live up to the promise of being able to lead it and so on. But I always thought that it had the potential. But it's one thing to see a great outcome, but delivering it and pushing for it. And when you think about the size of something like the Olympics, I mean, just the very thought of it can be overwhelming. So we try to set ourselves up so that we could achieve it a little bit at a time, so that people would not be overawed by what they were going to have to do. So so I think in the end that the way we went about it, fired everybody up, and it gave everybody a belief that they actually, if we took it a day at a time, an hour at a time, a piece at a time, that we actually could really deliver something profound, and we did.
All right, here in Winnipeg, as an inspirational speaker tonight for prostate cancer, Cancer Care Manitoba. Cancer touches all of us at some point.
Yes, it does. And I think about, we were just saying coming in today, that when you think about all the difficulties we have in our lives that we whine about and the challenges we face, they're nothing compared to fighting cancer. And I've had many friends who've had to confront cancer in their lifetime, and you know that it's one of these things that can be very lonely to deal with, but it is. But I've seen so many examples of people that have looked it in the eye and said, "No, I'm not going to be beaten by this." My best friend was Jack Poole, and in the end he passed away from pancreatic cancer, but he fought prostate cancer and won. And I remember when he used to talk about it, he would talk about it like it was just swatting a fly away. He just saw that it had to be beaten, and he was going to find a way to do it. And I think what's happening here is a noble thing. People getting together to inspire a greater effort to beat prostate cancer. And can beat. Last year, one of my closest colleagues she found out that she had stage 3 colon cancer, found out of the blue, and 4 months later she was told by her doctors that it was gone, which was absolutely extraordinary. But it came down to the mental fortitude and determination and the support of family and friends to say, not now, we're going to beat this. And I think it's like anything in life, that it's the application of that effort and that determination to beat it. And events like this, I think, remind us that we're not in these things alone. We sometimes think we are, but we're not. We all felt like everybody can tell you the precise moment, place, time, location that they were when Sidney Crosby touched that puck. That's big, in a country like ours that's 6 times the size of Europe. That's big. And so, you know, I look today, I still, it puts a smile on my face to know that we had that kind of impact and that so many people put their heart and soul into it to make it possible. So it's pretty special.
Well, thank you, John, for the memories.
Thank you.
And welcome back to Winnipeg. John Furlong. For Backstage, I'm Tracy Koga.